Have you ever walked into a negotiation and just know this one's going to be rough? See, that was me not too long ago. I was representing the buyers on a very beautiful home in a very desirable part of this valley. Now, these buyers, they love the property and they made a great offer. It was above asking with clean terms and a very solid deposit. And this was the kind of offer that most sellers would be thrilled to get. But the energy from the seller side, let's just say it was combative. Every detail became a standoff. The seller and their agent pushed back on everything. And I could tell right away, they weren't trying to make a deal. They were trying to dominate this thing. After we went into contract, the listing agent actually said to me, "Hey Kip, no hard feelings. We're just really great negotiators." And you know, I remember thinking, okay, let's just see how this plays out. In case we haven't met yet, my name is Kip Barnard and I've been a licensed broker here in Silicon Valley for over 20 years. I've managed an office for the #1 brokerage in the country and overseen billions of dollars in transactions. My passion is helping people protect their #1 asset and avoid the kind of drama that turns a great deal into a legal mess. Back to the story. Despite the tension, we moved forward. My buyers were committed. We got through some additional inspections, removed contingencies, and closed right on time. Then, right after closing, the sellers asked if they could just stay in the home for a few extra days to finish their move. A small favor, really. But my buyer said no. Actually, let me be more accurate. They said hell no. Because here's the thing. When people feel steamrolled or disrespected during the process, they have no interest in being generous afterward. The goodwill was gone. Every last drop of it had been burned off by how the negotiation was handled at the start of the deal. And you know what? That wasn't the end of it. Once my buyers moved in, they started finding things wrong with the property. Stuff that wasn't fully disclosed or had been downplayed. It added up. So they called a real estate attorney, and suddenly that amazing negotiation the sellers were so proud of, it was starting to look like a very expensive mistake. Now let me give you the other side of the coin. Not long after that, I had another deal where I also represented the buyers, but this one couldn't have been more different. The seller was an elderly woman who had just lost her husband. She happened to be at the home during our showing, which is normally something I try to avoid, but in this case, it was exactly what needed to happen. My buyers started talking with her and they made a real connection, not just small talk. They talked about life, family, what the home had meant to her, and that connection set the tone for everything that followed. We put the deal together very quickly, respectfully, and with zero drama. The agents on the other side, a big shout out to Julie and Christina, were an absolute dream to work with. Total pros. Everyone involved just wanted to do right by each other, and that deal closed so smoothly. And here's the best part. My buyers found a few little things after they moved in. Nothing huge, just normal house stuff. But they didn't even consider going back to the seller to ask for anything. Not because they couldn't, but because they cared about her. They respected her, and they wanted her to move on peacefully. In fact, they actually became friends after the sale. Now let me be clear, that doesn't happen when you try to squeeze every penny or win every detail. That happens when everyone leads with integrity, empathy, and just a little bit of grace. So here's the big takeaway. The very best real estate deals, the ones people feel good about years later, they're the ones where everybody walks away happy. The buyer gets a home they love, the seller moves on with dignity, and both sides know they were treated fairly. That's what a real win-win looks like. If you're getting ready to sell and want to protect both your price and your peace of mind, grab my free seller guide. It's full of practical advice on how to negotiate smart without setting yourself up for conflict down the road. And be sure to check out my video on disclosure mistakes if you haven't seen that one yet. That's one of the biggest reasons why people end up in court after a deal closes. The bottom line, getting top dollar really does matter, but the way you get there matters even more. So yeah, don't be a jerk, because sometimes winning the deal today ends up costing you a whole lot more tomorrow.
Hey guys, for more content similar to this, smash that like and subscribe button and we'll see you next time.